Hello and welcome back to another YouTube video. Hi, I'm Peter. Okay, so in the video that I would have posted yesterday, for you guys, for me it's this coming Friday, I said that there would not be a video on the Keep of the Movies channel. That is incorrect, because the 7 days without electronics thing didn't really work out. I'm planning on doing that later because of a couple of situations with a couple of things. I have to be able to talk to certain people. But anyways, I found my glasses. You know where they were? They were in between two of the couches in my family room. Yeah. I guess they were probably behind them at some point. But I found them, so I no longer have to use those old disgusting ones, and I don't have to be like this either. So, I finally brought myself to finish Iron Man 2. And I took a bunch of notes on it. This time I did not write a script, because I was just wanting to get this video over with, because I'm not a huge fan of Iron Man 2, honestly. At least with ones like The Incredible Hulk is my least favorite Marvel film. It's kind of fun to make fun of it a lot, but this one, it bores me. It bores me so much. That's kind of why I don't like it. The Incredible Hulk, there's just so much wrong with it. Same with Thor: The Dark World, but Iron Man 2, there isn't like... There's a lot of stuff wrong with it, but like, it's just so boring. Kind of like Captain Marvel is so boring. So, I'm just going to be going off my notes and the final scores that I gave each section. By the way, like 10 or 15 minutes ago, I lost a tooth. I am still losing teeth, I do not know. I still have like maybe one or two more after that. Maybe one more, I don't know. But, I can still taste blood. It's not pleasant. Anyways. One second. That's not it. That's my lucky rock. Nope, nothing. Oh, I have a lucky rock now. Just so you know. This is random. This is a piece of obsidian that I found in Idaho on a trip there recently. And it has become my lucky rock. I've scored really high test scores when I had this in my pocket. I won't say the exact score, even though I have it memorized, and I'm very proud of it. It doesn't have to do with percentages. It's a number, but I'm very proud of that test score in English. I had this rock with me. But when I was in a walk with my mother, and I had the pain that sent me to the ER, I had left this rock at home. When I was in the ER, and they gave me pretty much nothing but good news, this rock was with me. But I went to the urgent care when they sent me to the ER. I left this rock in the car. So, I'm just saying, obviously it actually has no effect on things, but I find it comforting. So, yeah. So let's get into this. It has me notebook. It's the same one where I wrote down the rules for my proposed family game. Okay, so if you haven't watched one of these movie reviews before, I've done two of them in the past. One on Iron Man 1 and one on The Incredible Hulk from 2008. Basically, I go over each of these, let's see, so how many sections is it? 9 sections, I believe. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, yeah. These 9 sections, which are the story of the movie, the action in the movie, my overall love for the main character, or just how they are in this film, the main character. This is for solo films, not the Avengers films. How good is the villain or villains? How good are the character arcs in this film? How good is the humor? How many yes moments are there? Like moments that give you goosebumps. Like Infinity War. Thor drops out of the sky and is like, "Bring me Thanos!" Yes, one of those kinds of moments. By the way, this video will contain definite spoilers for Iron Man 2 and may contain some minor spoilers for the rest of the MCU. But I will try to avoid that as much as possible. I do sometimes bring in some examples from other movies. Like just then I took an example from Infinity War, which did spoil one of the best one-liners that I have ever seen. That was brilliant. I watched that with pretty much all of my siblings, not all of them. My brother B and my sister-in-law T were not there. But my brother Paylor was there. R was there. S and L, they're married. My brother S and my sister-in-law L. And my brother Steve, not his real name, and my sister S. Sister S, not brother S. Yeah. They were all there, but we kicked the parents out because it was kids' night. But I watched Infinity War and Endgame in a marathon that day, and it was so good. That was pretty recently, actually. It might have been early this year or like late last year, I don't remember exactly. But anyways, yeah. So, yes moments, and then you have death scenes. I do love when movies give good death scenes. Let's just say there are a lot of death scenes in Infinity War, and I really like how a lot of them are done. And so I really do like it when they make good emotional death scenes. Like have an impact on the story and the characters. And then you have side characters, which is one I added in after I initially started. And now that I'm into it, there's a lot more that goes into it besides these 9 things. Like how good is the acting? How good is the visuals? Well, how good are the visuals? Stuff like that, you know. But I didn't add that in. Plus, I do enjoy cleaner movies, so how family friendly is it, right? Those things could be incorporated into there, but I am not doing that because I've already kind of set the expectations here with my other 2 reviews, which discussed these 9 topics as well. Alright, so like I said, I do not have a script, so this might be a little bit scatterbrained. But I already have the scores for each of them, and I believe I have the reasons in my head. Gosh, okay. Let's start with story. So the story for this movie, I'm not going to give a huge summary like I usually do, because, like I said, the movie kind of bores me, right? But the story for this film, Iron Man 2, it's kind of all over the place, like my usual thought process during videos. Like, it's a little bit too complicated and also all over the place. You know, you have 2 different villains and 3 different, like, danger storylines. Like, you have the fact that Tony's dying from using his thing that's also keeping him alive, right? So Tony's dying, and you also have Ivan Vanko, who is kind of like the secondary Iron Man in this movie. And he's kind of the main villain of the film, but there's also Justin Hammer, who is kind of like a wannabe Tony Stark kind of character. So you have the Iron Man and the Tony Stark, right? But neither of them measure up. Honestly, though, I think if Ivan had been put into a different film, I think I would have liked him as a villain better. But overall, I don't really like the villains in this film, especially in this film in particular. Justin Hammer has some good funny moments, but I mean, he's not really the best. Just saying. But anyways, why does that always do that? You'll see in one of my future Keeper the Books videos, I talk about the fact that that freaking piano stand, that music stand over there, not piano stand, music stand over there, my voice bounces off of it, and it really annoys me, because it like rings back into my ears, and I'm just like, yeah, stay away. Also, have I mentioned before that this basement is like really creepy? I'm in an unfinished bedroom right now that's kind of turned into a storage room. Well, definitely turned into a storage room, but it is an unfinished bedroom. And then over there is a food storage room. You got the unfinished under the stairs closet over there that has all our sleeping bags and stuff like that because we like to go camping. It's overall kind of creepy down here because, like, there are no real, like, finished walls in this room. The door doesn't even close well, it does close all the way if you really try to make it close all the way, but it doesn't lock. There's no door handle. And you can clearly see around it. Plus, you can just get into this room through the closet, which is also unfinished. It's basically just a bunch of metal bars just sitting there. And that's where my brother, Steve, hangs his clothes because his closet in his room is broken right now. And so you have all of his shirts and stuff like that over there. Which also adds to the creep factor, especially when the lights are off, because his shirts and like this really long like white package, which I think might be my sister's dress, is just sitting there. And it like casts weird shadows. Yeah, it's kind of creepy down here. And yet I spend so much time down here. Why? I don't know. Probably because I film YouTube videos. At least 2 a week. But usually more than that. Anyways, so yeah, the story's kind of all over the place. You have Tony saving his own life, Tony taking down these other villains, you got the Stark Expo, you got Tony fighting with Rhodey. It's just, you got the Tony Pepper relationship, you got Natasha Romanoff pretending to be Natalie Rushman, which, actually, that's kind of one of my favorite parts of the film. You got all these sorts of things, and they're just trying to slip in the humor, too, and I'm just like, this feels like too much for one film. And I've watched other people that have done reviews on this. Shout out to Sean Chandler Talks About. I watch his channel all the time. I started watching his channel actually after I started making these reviews, and I found it interesting. He actually has some similar opinions to me. I started watching his channel right after I made the Incredible Hulk review, and turns out he has some similar opinions about the Incredible Hulk movie, except for the fact that he thinks that it has some redeemable things in it. He has some very similar opinions about the actor for Bruce Banner, though, in that film, and the actor for Bruce Banner throughout the rest of the MCU, which I voiced my opinion on that when I watched that, and then I watched his videos. Yeah, he makes some really good videos. I watch them a lot now. Trying not to make them influence my own opinions, but yeah. Don't worry, I still think Incredible Hulk is a terrible movie. And that's just my full-on opinion. I hate it. I hope to never have to rewatch it ever again. It's just my thing. Okay. So yeah, the story's kind of all over the place. It's a bit too complicated. It's just kind of nah. So that's why I gave it Plus, it's not all that fully interesting all the time, so I give it a 3 out of 5. It's not terrible. It's not, like, beyond belief bad. It's not bad. It's not terrible, but it's also not pretty good, but it could be better, or this is amazing. No, it's kind of the, this is decent, I guess. Kind of in between. I don't really care about this. So it's a 3 out of 5. Right? And then you have the action for the film, which is one of the film's more strong suits. You got the first action in the film is the first fight between... No, went out of focus. The first fight between Tony and Ivan is... Okay, is this zoomed in again? Oh. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. I can't tell. Okay. Crap. Dang it, Peter. Okay. Sorry, I totally forgot that I have to study for something. Okay, let's hurry this on because it is like it's finals right now. The English final was, I think, last week. The science final is this week. The math final is next week. I'm not really worried about the math final. The English final went well, but I'm very worried about the science final. I'm not very good with that, at least with my particular grade in science. Okay. Let's continue. Action. The first part of the film that has action in it is pretty much when, like, actual action, like fight scene action, is when Tony and Ivan Vanko had their first fight. Which it was pretty good. It was pretty good action. Not my favorite in the MCU for sure. But this film does have pretty good action in it, I have to say. You have a scene where Ivan is helped to escape a prison from by Hammer. He didn't really escape. He was more transferred and had his death faked, right? Which is a bit of an action sequence, but not really. Then you have the goodness awful party scene, which has some action between Tony and Rhodey have a fight, so there's action there. Yeah, so Tony and Rhodey fight in two Iron Man suits, so in the future War Machine suit and the Iron Man suit. So they fight, and that's action. That one was probably, honestly, my least favorite action in the film. Then you have the final fight between Tony and Rhodey and at the beginning it's Tony versus all of the drones, and then it's Tony and Rhodey versus all the drones, and then it's Tony and Rhodey against Ivan Vanko. Yeah. So basically, that one has some good action in it as well. That's pretty much the final fight sequence, but also mixed in there is my favorite fight sequence of the film, which isn't really a fight, it's more of a person completely destroying everybody else. And that is the first time you get to see the real Black Widow, Natasha Romanoff, in this film, for reals, like 100%. And she's just, like, completely trashing... What is that? Yeah, she's completely, like, trashing all of these guys at Hammer's facility. And it is my favorite part of the film. Honestly, yeah, it is my favorite part of the film, is that singular action sequence. I love it. It's just Black Widow being amazing. Yeah, so action, I give a 4 out of 5, because it's not like, yes, I love this 100%, this is great. I didn't actually give a 5 out of 5 on anything, but it's not this is decent, or this is kind of bad. I mean, it's okay, but it's kind of bad, or this is absolutely terrible. This is pretty good. I like this. It could use some work still, but I like this. That is what 4 is. So 4 out of 5. Next, you have the main character. Tony Stark, obviously, is the main character of Iron Man 2, and Iron Man 1, and Iron Man 3. Because he is Iron Man, or I am Iron Man, to quote him. Love that scene, sorry. Sorry, those scenes. Okay. Tony Stark. I think the film where Tony gets the most character development is probably Captain America: Civil War. Camera focus. To me, it looks unfocused. I don't know about to you guys. Whatever. Okay, now it's good. But Tony in this film, I mean, Tony at any point before the Avengers movie, he's just kind of, well, he's Tony. He's, genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist, I believe that is the quote. Genius, playboy, billionaire, philanthropist. Yeah, that's right. That is what he is. Emphasis on the playboy he's interesting. And honestly, it's not the best when he does that kind of thing. Yeah. It's kind of one of my least favorite traits from Tony Stark, and this one is slightly prominent in this film, but like not as prominent as it was in the first film, but it is still prominent. And I mean, it can bring some humor, but it's not really humor I really like very much. So in my opinion, Tony not really having much character development at this point. He's still pretty much the same old Tony, other than the fact that he doesn't manufacture weapons anymore, I think. Yeah, it's not really fully clear. He doesn't, but I don't know if Stark Industries does or not. It's kind of unclear. I don't think they do, but it's kind of unclear. So he did have some development from the very beginning, but it's not enough to make me fully fall in love with the character as I did by the end of Endgame. The next at least 20 seconds will be spoilers for Endgame. I will wait like 2 seconds before I start saying something. I cried at Tony Stark's death in Endgame. I did. It was very sad. Especially because at this point in Endgame, he had become one of my favorite characters, and his death, it was really sad to me. Okay, so, yeah, in this film, I don't really like Tony Stark. In fact, in any of his 3 films, I'm not a huge fan. But in the second film especially, and even in the first film too, I don't really like him. So I'm going to give him a 3 out of 5, as in this is decent. I mean, it could be a lot better, but it's decent. I mean, it's not bad, but it's not good, right? So 3 out of 5. Then you have the villains of this film. There's not just one, there are 2, technically. There are 2 actual villains, and that is Justin Hammer and Ivan Vanko. Justin Hammer is a villain, technically, but he never really seemed to me like a full-on threat to Tony. I mean, without Ivan, he's not a threat like at all. I'm just saying, he's not smart. I'm sorry, Justin, but you are not a genius. Maybe you have some smarts in you, but you're definitely not a Ravenclaw. Because he's not really that creative. I mean, he can be kind of creative, but I feel like he's more of a Slytherin, cunning and ambitious. But he's not like super smart, and he's not brave at all, and he's definitely not loyal. Unless he can't loyal to himself, but yeah, he's very self-centered. He's like a Slytherin. I'm just saying, he's a Slytherin. Anyways, what was that? Something on my screen, whatever. Okay, so the villains in this film, I feel like Justin Hammer isn't really much of a threat to Tony. Ivan, he's more of a threat, but he never really struck me as like a brilliant villain all the way through. He's definitely not one of my favorites. I kind of have like 5 kind of favorite villains in the Arrowverse, gosh, in the MCU. Alright, scatterbrain. Okay, in the MCU, that's like crap, what's his name from Black Panther? I feel bad that I don't remember his name. Then you got like you have Mysterio from Far From Home. Sorry, spoiler. I seriously hope anybody that is watching this has seen Spider-Man Far From Home. I am sorry. Okay. Yeah. And then you have, let's see. After that, I would say Winter Soldier from Winter Soldier. Captain America the Winter Soldier. And then Loki, love Loki, and Thanos. Right. Okay. I'm sorry for those of you that may be watching this that have not seen Far From Home. I'm sorry that I spoiled the villain, a twist villain, for you. And I am also, well, I actually had it spoiled for me too, by one of my teachers, actually, who is kind of obsessed with movies. He spoiled that for me, and I was just like, dude, seriously? I wanted to watch Far From Home. I'm not even able to at this point. This was a teacher. I have him now, but I also had him in the past. It was a different class, in a different year that he spoiled this for me. I'm not going to say if that was a different school year or a different actual year, but anyways, maybe it was both. Who knows? Well, obviously it would have to be both, or just one. Who knows? Okay. But yeah, I did get that twist villain spoiled for me. I'm sorry. Okay, but yeah, the villains in this film, they don't really impress me very much. They're definitely not even up in my top 10 favorite villains in the MCU, so they're going to get a 3 out of 5. So another kind of, this is decent kind of thing. Okay. Next you have character arcs. There is only one character arc I can really see for the main character in this film, and that is at the very end when Pepper and Tony become a couple. Is kind of really the only like actual character development that Tony really gets in this film. So because there's such a lack of character arcs, and even that one isn't really a full-on character arc, or real actual character development, I'm going to give character arcs a 1 out of 5. Yes, a 1 out of 5. Sorry, humans. just double checking something. Okay, good. I did count those up right. Okay, and the next section is humor. This film's strong suits, in fact, pretty much any Iron Man film's strong suit, other than kind of Iron Man 3, which does kind of have this as its strong suit, but also not, is the humor. The humor in this film is actually really good. I did have quite a few laughs when I was watching it. And honestly, it has really good humor. It does not, however, live up to the humor in Iron Man 1 or like Guardians of the Galaxy 1. But I have to say it is really good. So it's kind of too much to talk about. Plus, goodness gracious, I'm 31 minutes in. Okay, this is going a little bit too long. So, I'm not going to give it a 5 out of 5 because it's not so spectacularly amazing that it gets that much. But I am going to give it a 4 out of 5 because I feel like it does deserve that much. Because I did laugh out loud quite a bit. Especially the first time I watched it. Okay. Then you have the yes moments. Those moments that give you goosebumps. There are a couple in this film. Mostly it's like people walking away from explosions and stuff like that, and obviously the Tony and Pepper's first kiss. How can that not be wonderful? We've been shipping them for 2 whole films. At least I have. That was really great. But it's mostly the walking away from explosions in these early films. Or in Hulk smash, that scene. But anyways, but overall the yes moments in this film aren't very good. I mean, there are a few good walking away from explosions scenes, which are pretty good. So I gave it a 2 out of 5, which is like, this is kind of bad. It's not like horrible, but it could be a lot better. It's not even to the decent mark. And then you have death scenes. There is only one death scene that I saw in this film. Maybe I missed one. Well, actually, technically there are 2. Which are the death of Ivan's father, who, again, for some reason I'm spacing the name of, and Ivan himself. I believe that was a death. In fact, I'm almost certain it was. But I mean, Ivan's death scene, his last words were, "You lose," just like earlier, right? But it didn't really impress me very much. It wasn't sad. It wasn't, like, fully impactful in really any way. His father's death scene, was a bit saddening, but, I mean, you didn't really know this character. Like, who is this? Why is the screen dark now? Okay, that's strange. I'm sorry, I think the sun just went behind a cloud, or might have gone down. I'm not sure. But this just got a lot darker. Sorry. But death scenes, his father's one, okay. I'm sorry. I have never, like, fully lost a family member. My grandpa did die, but I was very young. So I don't remember that. I do remember it, but I didn't know him at all. So it wasn't like losing a loved one. It was more like losing the loved one of one of my loved ones. But I don't know fully. Well, I have lost kind of a someone who was kind of like a second grandma. Well, actually a fourth grandma. One of my grandpas was divorced. So, a fourth grandma to me. She was the actual grandma of my first and second grade best friend. But at the beginning of the movie, when Ivan is going when he loses his father, his screaming, it made me cringe. And I'm sorry if that is actually realistic. But to me, it seems slightly unrealistic. I mean, like, I guess in some situations some people would react like that, but it just, seeing that on the movie screen felt less realistic. And so it left less of an impact on me. If someone were to do that in real life, then I would have given them a hug. But on the movie screen, it just... Actually, I probably wouldn't have given them a hug. I'm not a huggy person. No, actually, in that situation, I would. Yeah. But yeah, on a movie screen, it doesn't ring well with me. So, overall, death scenes, I'm giving them a 2 out of 5. This was kind of bad. There wasn't really much there. It wasn't horrible, but it was kind of, yeah. I don't really like this very much. Kind of bad. Then you have the side characters. The Stan Lee cameo in this film was someone named Larry King at the Stark Expo. And there was also a Elon Musk cameo in this film, which was pretty cool. He's pretty cool. Then you also have Pepper, who remains to this day one of my favorite side characters in the MCU. You got Coulson and Fury, and obviously Natasha, or Natalie. You got Happy, Rhodey. There are a bunch of really good side characters that I really like. I'm not a huge fan of Rhodey overall, actually. He doesn't really... Yeah. I prefer Sam much more. But yeah, there are a lot of really good side characters in this film. So it didn't blow my mind away how good they were, but it was pretty good. So I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5 for side characters. So overall, this film gets a 26 out of 45 overall. I'm pretty sure I counted that correctly. Which is more than Incredible Hulk got, but less than Iron Man 1 got, so it's just right there in the middle. I can tell you that it's going to be beaten by a lot more films in the future, I'm sure. So this wasn't a super great film. It's not one of my, top 3 least favorites. Those are The Incredible Hulk, Thor: The Dark World, and... No, wait, maybe it is. Okay, it's not my least favorite Marvel film of all time, but it is up there. Or down there. It is my number 3 least favorite. I am so excited to rewatch Thor: The Dark World in the future. Oh, yes, it's not number 3. I forgot. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 exists. I hated that film. Oh, gosh. Yeah, Iron Man 2 goes number 4, and then Captain Marvel just above that. Yeah. Those are, in my opinion, the 5 fails of the MCU. The Incredible Hulk, Thor: The Dark World, Iron Man 2, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and Captain Marvel, I think, are the 5 fails of the MCU. The rest of the movies are great, if not amazing, or kind of fine. Some of them are fine, some of them are great, some of them are amazing. I love this, right? But, Iron Man 1 this is fine. I mean, it's not amazing, but it was pretty much fine. So I haven't really gone over any mind-blowingly amazing films yet. In fact, we don't really get to that point till Captain America: The Winter Soldier, which is one of my favorite Marvel films. And then you got Infinity War and Endgame and Far From Home, and Black Panther, you know, the works. But anyways, yeah, it's not okay. It's kind of a bad film. I don't really like it very much. It's not so incredibly bad that I wouldn't rewatch it, but it's not one I really want to rewatch a lot. The ones I hate to rewatch are mainly The Incredible Hulk and Thor: The Dark World. But this one, I can manage it. I've now rewatched it 3 times. Gosh. Yeah, and I rewatched The Incredible Hulk and Thor: The Dark World both twice now. Odd. Yeah, okay. So 26 out of 45 is the overall score for this one. This video is getting very long, so I'm going to say goodbye for now. I'll see you guys next time.